Hi, everybody. It's Corey at the Reset Girl. I have something really exciting to share with you today. I wanted to introduce you to dun da 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 the Crafty Club PlayBook. Hello, everybody. This has been such a labor of love, and it is like I can't even tell you how much I love crafting in this book. And um, it's been a long time coming that this ever got designed. This is something I sort of sketched out, conceptualized. We designed it. We even like started looking for like printers overseas. We were gonna, release it in a physical, as a physical product and make it smaller with a coil bound way back in 2016. And I never pulled the trigger on it. And so more recently, at the end of last year, I decided, why don't we go ahead and release it as a printable book and do it letter size so it's very easy for people to print. They can choose to put it in a binder, they can disc bound it like I have here, or they can shrink it down using their printer settings and turn it into like an A5 or a half letter size. So it is now out and about. Now, I intended to share this back in the wintertime when we released the first edition. It is a 4-part book. So you'll see here it says collect all 4 seasonal inserts. So there's actually 4 parts to the playbook. I decided to release it in seasons. That way you could decide, rather than buying this big, enormous book, whether or not it was right for you, if you wanted to try it out. So there's 4 seasons. We've already done winter, but winter is still available in our shop if you're interested. And I am going to be introducing you to spring. I'm going to film another video to show you all the pages I decorated in winter. I pretty much did every single page except one spread. So let's dive into the spring edition. So every edition will come with the same cover. That way, if you've missed spring, you'll still have a cover for your book in the summertime. If you've missed 2, you'll still have it in the fall. So they all will have the same beautiful little cover. And then I am using a TUL notebook. This is one of the clear poly covers, and it comes with paper and it comes with plastic rings. So I ditched the plastic and I have some of the paper left behind in here, but it's pretty much something I sort of Frankensteined. These are hard to find. I think they discontinued them. I had to buy the last 2 of them. They have them in half letter size and I have them in full letter. And I bought the last set that I own on eBay. I am putting a link in the description box for other brands that make a similar product, like the Arc brand from Staples. They also make poly covers. I'm not sure why so many of them decided they didn't like the clear. I think they're perfect, but there is an alternative for you, also linked in the description box. You can also have this coil bound. You don't have to, punch it and do the disc binding at all. You could simply have, if you take it to Office Depot, you could have them put a binding on it, and then you could have 4 separate books if you wanted to. And I have to be honest, after filling up my winter, this is going to be like the fluffiest book that ever was. So I will be really interested to see what size rings I'm going to have. I have winter and spring together on this, and these rings here are, I want to say these are 1 inch, and I'm probably going to have to increase them to the 2 inches to get everything on this book once summer comes. So on the interior of the book, we have a little message from me, and then we have your title sheet where you put your name, this playbook belongs to. It has a cute little mid-century modern scene. Just like our former playbook, we also included a really beautiful kind of capture the moment honeys doing their thing, modeling their clothes. We didn't do any kind of costume change or fashion change. They look like they're Kate Spade models. I just love how adorable they are. You have a journaling prompt right here that you can fill out. And this is just kind of giving you a fun little spot for journaling, envisioning what what you're expecting this season, what you're excited for right now in your life. And then just like winter, we have a spring story that I've written. We have Sammy here. She's modeling her Crafty Club playbook. And then here's an opportunity to write a letter to spring. So you can be very straightforward and just write across, or you can do what I did, which you'll see in the next video, which is I sprinkled the page with lots of embellishments and then wrote around them, and it kind of helped take up some of that space. This time, instead of one full spread like we did last season, we have a clipboard here where you can use this to make an epic list for spring. This whole section of the playbook is, you'll notice up here in the upper corner, it'll tell you it's spring, and then when you progress through the book, it'll become spring, and then the month, and then the week. So you have a section of the book dedicated to spring, and this is your list for spring. So you could make your like cleaning list, you know, what you want to spring clean in your house. You could make about what you want to do this season, what's your bucket list, what's your wish list, what craft supplies do you want this season. Whatever that little list is, you have an opportunity to make it here. And then here is creating a mood board for spring. I love Pinterest. It is such a passion of mine, and I love making little boards. So I thought it would be fun for us to kind of gather up spring pictures and kind of print and paste them here into a grid, and you could make your own little mood board for spring. What does it feel like to you? So that's like a little fun activity. Here is another spread for spring, and this is Crafty Inspiration. So this spread was designed for you to find pictures of crafting, scrapbooking, any kind of art journaling, projects that you see online or on Instagram that you just love, and gathering them here to help you kind of like inspire your own crafting. Sometimes there might be a craft that somebody else has made that might inspire you, and you might want to go ahead and kind of recreate the same idea but use your own stash. And that's totally acceptable to do that. It's called scrap lifting. And that really what you need to do when you post it is just give credit to the person that inspired you. But it's a lovely way of like kind of kickstarting your crafting. And so that's what this was here, was to visually create that. And then you have a list here that you can write down everyone's names of whom you've found and that are inspired by, or maybe just make a list of people you're inspired by. You could also fill this up with pictures of your own work. You know, if you do stuff that you love, then by all means showcase what you've made during spring. This is our first monthly spread, and up here it says spring and then April. So every month we'll have a girl in a different scene, and then you have your documenting page. So this is a girl inspired by a design that I did during Camp Reset that came from like an ad, and I punched out a bunch of little teardrop shapes, and I made her this beautiful skirt. So I thought this would be so fun to kind of recreate that idea. We had our illustrator make us some scenes with the girls. So you can make clothes for her, design an outfit for her, color this in. You can use paper. And this balloon right here, we actually have something new we did this season, is we have these templates that you would cut out of like cardstock. So this is one of the extra sheets that comes with this playbook, and there's a balloon template. So you cut this out of your cardstock, and then you hold it on top of scrapbook paper and cut your little balloon out. And you cut enough of them out and start layering them down. You can make a whole little bouquet of scrap paper balloons. So that was the point of that little balloon shape there. Here on this side, you're getting a documented page to kind of document what you did this month. So you're currently, what are you documenting? What are you making? Journaling, listening, crafting, dreaming, planning, reading, and decorating. Here are some little reminders to yourself of things you should be reaching for in your stash. I know a lot of us like put our things away, so sometimes you'll forget things you own. Maybe challenge yourself this month to like bring out a couple craft tools, remind yourself of things that you might want to reach for more often. There's a part here for journaling, what your thoughts are, how your crafting went, what your creativity level was like, who you were inspired by, and what you're currently obsessed with. We have 4 trackers here. The first one is Got My Crafty On, so you would just mark up which days of the month you got crafty. And then you got your self-care on. So as well as creativity, I'm a very big proponent of self-care. So those were 2 trackers of just kind of noting which dates you actually did that. And you have 2 trackers here that you can make up whatever you want to track. It could be about, you know, drinking water. It could be health related. So it doesn't have to be craft related. Here's your first spread for April with the listing. So here are some fun little lists for documenting what you did this month. You have read or watch this month, goals this month, things you're doing this month, places you went, ways that you showed yourself love, what you're buying, crafty projects you're going to work on next, and what your done list is. Sometimes we make these to-do lists, and I often find that I do a lot of things I didn't actually put on my to-do list, so I just love creating a list of things that I did, not necessarily that got planned, but that I actually accomplished. So this could be that list for you here. And then you have your bingo. I find this bingo to be the most motivating part of the playbook. So completing these prompts, and I always go for a blackout rather than just a bingo, but completing the prompts is the entire point of this particular little challenge that we have in here. We have one for each month, and just working on this alone, like knocking these out like it's a checklist, this is what makes me super productive in my playbook and makes me feel like very accomplished. I love filling this up. We actually have bingo markers that you can pick up in the shop, and printing them out, cutting them out, and then using them to cover up your bingo. When you see my next video with my winter playbook, you can see where that came from. I started punching out paper, which you can certainly do. You can just color this in with a marker. You don't even have to do that, get fancy. But I find that like using stuff from my stash and actually treating this like I'm decorating the squares, it became super fun. I started off by just punching a scrapbook square and using it to fill in the bingo as a marker. So this has been, like I said, very motivating. You also have eggs to decorate for April because it's the month of Easter, and we gave you an egg template. So you'd cut that out, use that with your scrapbook paper, and cut out scrapbook paper eggs that you can use washi, stickers, watercolors. There's so many different ways to do eggs. I'm very, very excited about this page. I think I want to make honey eggs. The next page is your gratitude spread. So there's a little space for each day of the month. These are little Rolodex kind of cards, and you have space to write something you are grateful for. So we're going to be gratituding every month as well, and this is the first little layout for that. Then we have the first spread of art journaling. So they look blank, but we actually have a few little elements that we've added here to kind of give it the feeling of like mixed media, little stamp elements. And then you will use your stash to just basically create pages here. So every week of April you get a spread. So this is spread 1, spread 2, spread 3, and spread 4. Now you have a blank page here, which is very intimidating, I know, which is why we have given you a whole sheet of prompts to work from. These prompts can be cut out and then pasted here, and there's a spot on each page for a prompt. You can answer the prompt in any way you want with your craft stash. So as an example, some of the prompts on the sheet, let's just go ahead and take a little peek at them. We have things like happy place, favorite, quote, scraps, she glows, the book was better. So whatever that means to you, whatever way you want to interpret that, you would just respond here with your ephemera, photos, scraps of paper, and then add a bit of journaling and explain what crushing means to you, or what you're obsessed with, or what's some good advice you've been given. So when you see my winter spread and you can see how I have responded to some of those, it will give you some further inspiration. But art journaling is super simple. There really are no rules to it, which is why it's so fabulous and why I loved including it here in the playbook. It was so popular when we introduced that into Camp Reset last summer. So I really wanted to kind of keep that ball rolling because it really doesn't have rules. There's no way to do it wrong. It's really just creating some kind of, crafty, artistic expression using your paints, your stamps, your stash, and then just journaling a little bit to explain, what you are responding to. That's pretty simple, right? So The next spread in April is memory keeping. So I'm not really a scrapbooker or memory keeper. I've not been really disciplined in that area, so I wanted to get better. And I know that it can be very intimidating to start with a blank slate. So we created some spreads that help you kind of baby step your way into memory keeping. And we kind of started with a few elements on the page to make it simple for you. So we have a little spot here for you to add your photo. You're even told that, insert your 3x4-inch photograph here, and then you can go ahead and journal about what's happening in the photo. You can continue to embellish if you'd like to, or just keep it very simple. You'll also notice on this side there are more little elements here, little backgrounds. And so these were designed to work with a couple of the really popular pocket printers that are out there. So if you have an Instax printer, you could simply print that photo and then just go ahead and lay it down on each of the spots, and it would fit beautifully. If you have one of like the Sprocket, one of the smaller printers that prints out a 2x3 photo, there is this little photo template here we created that you can use on white cardstock, and you can actually give it that little white frame that kind of makes it look a little vintagey. You can also use this with other scrapbook paper to create a layered effect. So this is slightly larger than a 2x3-inch photo, and this gives you a little bit extra like oomph if you wanted to add a little extra frame, like a little bit more paper layering in that spread. So that's what this particular one is included for, was this layout. And you'll have this layout on the other months as well, so you'll get use out of it. So I am really excited for this. It's like having a little gallery all laid out for you, and I just can't wait to get all my photos in here, what happens in April. So here's our first spread for May. You'll notice that we have a new model here. She's in a little flower garden, a little garden party going on, and a new color scheme. The same prompts are laid out for you, and the same lists are laid out for you. This month you have a different color bingo sheet. The prompts are kind of switched up, so they're a little different. You also have a fun little word search called the Crafty Life, and you'll be looking for terms here in the word search about what the crafty life is. Last winter we had the hardest word search ever. I use a word search generator. So you basically feed it in all like your terms and then it generates it for you. And I made it way too hard. So I brought it down a little bit so it's a little less difficult and just as much fun. I love word searches. I always have. So I just love, I've kind of kept them in as part of Camp Reset. I just think they're like a fun little easy activity. And this is really a grown-up girls activity book is really what I wanted it to feel like. So having things like this kind of just further makes it feel that way to me. This month's spread for gratituding is little sticky notes with paper clips and little stickers that are numbered so that you can write down one for each day of the month. And then again we have a spread. So there's actually two separate. I don't know if I was clear about that. It's not one whole spread. It's actually two. So you have a spread, two different sheets making up one spread for art journaling for the month of May. And then there's week 2, here's week 3, and then here's week 4. So you have 8 pages to do each month. If that feels too much to you, you can make it just one giant spread, or you can just skip one of the pages and just do one a week. I will be honest, I wasn't able to keep up pace and like do 2 a week. So towards the end of the month, I ended up doing like a whole bunch at once. And there's no rules about when you do things. There's no timeline. It's not that type of challenge. It's basically when you're able to. In fact, I didn't do quite a lot of crafting in January. So because I was so good in February, I went back and then finished my pages then. So there's no shame at all if you're not able to keep up and you just kind of have to do one big giant craft session later. That's really kind of the fun of the whole thing, is it's up to you. There's no pressure to keep up. So this is one of my favorite memory keeping spreads. I absolutely love this. This is all this delicious layering here done for you. All you have to do is insert your photograph here, add your journaling. You can further embellish it if you like. And then you have these cute little tags, the same thing. You're going to go ahead and add your 2x3 photographs. If you want to use your template to add that little white frame, you can. And then our June month is we have this sassy girl that you're going to add and make clothes for. You can color her in. Like I was thinking about her outfit. I'm going to actually cut out a logo from the Reset Girl and put that on her shirt. And I'm going to give her like black leggings, I think, because you could totally do that. Or like maybe even like short black leggings, because you could just color her in. Or you could make a beautiful flowy skirt out of scrapbook paper. So it's kind of fun to like kind of imagine all the things you can do. With winter, we had honeys that we used, and there were 3 on each page, and then you would color in their clothes. So that we kind of took that forward into spring and just modernized the girls. So again, you have another documented page, another listing page, a new bingo with freshened up prompts, and then this time you have a maze where you're going to help Jasmine get to her washi ring because a girl can't be separated from her washi ring. This month we have these adorable little houses, and you're going to fill these up once a day with what you're grateful for that day. And then again, you're going to have your art journaling sheets. And these are going to continue on until the end of April, where we go into our memory keeping. We decorated this spread with our little gumball layering circles. And then you go ahead and add your 3x4 photograph here. And then again, you can use your photo frame and make additional like layers of paper and add your photo here. So that is the end, and then there's a little message for you about the Reset Girl and what your purchase. A portion of our proceeds benefit a particular ministry that we just have such a heart for. And then I went ahead and added my prompts, like I punched them and put them in here so that they were safe. And then I made dividers for my playbook just out of a piece of scrapbook paper. And then this is the notebook paper that came with the notebook I had originally purchased. And I just decided to leave that in there just in case I wanted to make notes. And then you actually have a back cover for your playbook. So that is the whole spring edition, and it's going to be so much fun filling it up, I assure you. Now, I will tell you that the Late Night Crafty Club is one of the best places to bring your playbook to the party. It gives you more motivation, I think, to sit there, because I use this in the Late Night Crafty Club now to do my crafting, and that way we're kind of all crafting together and working on our playbooks. I can't tell you enough just how much I love this, how much it has personally helped me. I was very much going through very long periods of not crafting or being creative, and this has really brought me back to life. I just really feel very passionately about it. It's so much fun. It very much reminds me of those those big activity books we had as kids, and it's fun to fill up the pages and just make them colorful, and to be able to look back at the end of the season and turn all those delicious pages. You're just going to feel so proud of yourself. So we do have this available in the resetgirl.com store. I'm going to link it below. And this time for spring, we actually introduced a bonus kit that you could purchase. So you can buy these as a bundle, or you can buy them separately, or you don't have to buy this at all. I wanted to have some super fun sheets that were something I could use in the playbook that were kind of like sized for the playbook. So this is one of the sheets. These are stamping elements, and basically they're like vintage, like stamps and like old stamping pieces and postage and tickets and like bits of writing. And so I have it printed here on the white matte sticker stock, and also on transparent clear matte sticker stock, which is my favorite because then you end up getting the total look of a stamp. Like, it looks so much like a stamp when you do it that way. And all I do is just kind of like cut them out and add them. And it's kind of neat because it's like having a portable stamp with you. You don't have to have a stamp pad and ink and all that. You can just cut it out and kind of paste it onto your page, and it gives it extra layering and deliciousness, kind of like a little background. So this is one of the sheets that comes with your playbook. You also get a sheet of my very favorite in the whole wide world, my layering circles. These are something you can punch, and it has a little reminder right here. You can punch these out with a 1.25 inch punch, 1 1/4 inch. and I had these printed onto sticker stock so that they are just like, once I punch them out, they're just a bunch of like fun stickers. I cannot, I don't think I can make a layout or a project without a layering circle. They're just like my favorite thing. I love a good circle, and these are like my absolute favorite. Every single one of these, like I would use the entire sheet. It is just delicious. I love things that are kind of quirky and mismatched and kind of fun, and that's what these are. These girls are some of my favorite ways to craft. Is I just love cutting out a honey, making her peek up through the bottom of a page. I love like she would fit in a corner because she's cut off here and so is her arm. So she'd fit right like in the corner of a page. With this girl, I would cut out her little yellow, the yellow background. I would cut that away so she's just a corner. And again, see how she would fit in the corner of a page. She would be coming up from the bottom of a page. Same thing here. They're one of my little fun signature things. I just love a good honey face. Like here's an example. This is what inspired me, is how often I like reach for my stash and cut these girls out and just kind of cut them and have them at the bottom of the page. Really fun. I love the way they look. So that's why we included them in here, so that you could do the same thing with your playbook. Okay, the last playbook accessory sheet are these really fun layering type of journaling labels. So you can like add them to, they were especially created for your memory keeping sheets. So where you have all the photographs, you would put a little title that says documented or adventure. They look like little vintage file labels. And these look like the old vintage Dymo labels, because I actually have a wood grain Dymo label. So I had those made. They're like little word strips. I cut this one out already to use in a project. But that's what they would look like. They're for like writing a little bit of journaling with your documenting pages. So I hope that is super exciting and inspiring to you, because it sure was for me. I absolutely love the idea of being able to use all of these in my playbook and my other craft projects. These are like favorites. I personally asked specifically for all the items in this kit so that it was very easy to kind of craft quickly in my playbook, because I had some of my most favorite things all together. Again, these are things that you could punch and stick into your playbook and have them all together, or put them in a folder like I do. So here is the spring edition Crafty Club Playbook. I hope that it just really inspires your little crafty heart, that you pick one up and join us in the Late Night Crafty Club to get your crafting on. I will be doing more videos about the Crafty Club Playbook, and when I, film myself doing my own pages and getting those up onto our YouTube channel. I'm also going to be putting a link down below in the description box for you to be able to join the Crafty Club on Facebook, so that you can also share your spreads and we can see what you're doing. And there will also be listed the hashtag Crafty Club Playbook on Instagram, so that you can share what you're doing there. I would love to see your pages. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody!